I'm Jake, and welcome to yet another Jake the Player. Today, I don't know what I want to talk about. Well, it's been 1 year anniversary for Sticko Media. Let's go. And to celebrate that, I wanted to make something very special for my Sticko Medians. So, let's just throw something at the wall and see which sticks. Well, that doesn't. It was the beginning of the 2010s, and with that, the 3DS came out in 2011 and was a huge hit. It had everything. It had touchscreen, it had a circle pad, it had a gyro, it had that, it had a home button. Look at that. All these features. And best of all, the 3D. Oh yeah, crank that thing up and everything will pop up in your eyes. But on the console side, they released the Wii U in 2012. And oh man, it's very gimmicky.
Multiplayer with all your friends and family.
It was also very family-oriented, especially in the marketing. And this kind of made the Wii U cringe for us hardcore Nintendo gamers. I mean, every ad I could remember had a family. Yeah.
Gamepad becomes your TV. And Netflix.
And this kind of made the Wii U not that appealing at launch. I hardly saw anyone have a Wii U. It was supposed to be the successor to the Wii right here, but it ended up becoming a failure because of many reasons. The first of all, I would like to mention the gamepad. Now that is a gimmick powerhouse. I mean, the controller had all the works. I mean, it had a camera, a microphone, gyro, everything. Touchscreen, but none of it was utilized. So when the gamepad was unveiled, everyone thought it was an accessory to the previous Wii. Because you know how Nintendo named everything for the Wii. Wii Wheel, Wii Play, Wii Sports. So everyone thought it was just another accessory. But just like the Wii, this so-called next generation Nintendo console wasn't as powerful as its competition. The Wii U was in line with, 360 and the PS3 in terms of power. And because of this, developers had second thoughts about developing for the console. So, we're going to talk about the more successful Nintendo console from this generation instead. Because do I look like the kind of guy who would own a Wii U? I own Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. So during this dark times for Nintendo, they had their trusty 3DS. This is my childhood 3DS. In fact, this was my first ever 3DS and video game console in general. As you can see, I had so many good times with this thing. I mean, look, the thumbstick is gone. So, what did the 3DS have at launch? Roll it. I mean, just look at some of these games. Pilot Wing, Steel Diver. Like, come on. This is kind of a bare bones launch. But what I've heard, there was a thing called an ambassador program where you could get a few Game Boy Advance games for the 3DS. I never got to participate in that because, one, I was 6, and 2, I don't know what a Game Boy Advance was, bruh. Oh, here's a big thing about the 3DS. I mean, compared to the DS, the 3DS that released in 2011 had a very lame launch. I mean, the DS released with Super Mario 64 DS, so it wouldn't be until the next year that the 3DS would get huge releases such as Super Mario 3D World and Super Mario Bros. 2. I mean, new, because, I might offend someone out there. Oh, and if you guys thought Pokemon was big on the Game Boy, man, the 3DS Pokemon was so crazy, out of this world. I mean, one literally got a live-action movie adaptation, for crying out loud. But towards the end of the 3DS's life, it started to struggle a bit because I don't know what was Nintendo thinking at the time, but around 2015-16ish, Nintendo started caring less about the 3DS and Wii U because they're about to release the Switch at this point. And so, the quality of the games went down a lot. I mean, I feel like that last year, all we got was a bunch of mediocre 2D side-scrolling games and lazy, watered-down Wii U ports to 3DS. It was just a very weird year. When the new 3DS came out, it was barely supported. It barely got any exclusives. I mean, Minecraft for new 3DS was kind of funny, but that and Xenoblade Chronicles, that's about it, really. I mean, we can't talk DS without talking about its many revisions. Nintendo's embarrassed of how the original 3DS looks, so they kept on changing it. I mean, look at the new 2DS XL. It looks like a freaking smartphone. I mean, doesn't it look like it? I will always remember the times I had playing these games. They were fun. The 3DS and I had good times, and I'll always treasure that. Started releasing these games on both Wii U and 3DS, so we ended up with watered-down Wii U games, like Super Mario Maker for 3DS. I mean, like, honestly, that is just funny to think that this exists. But yeah. But around this time, Nintendo was already preparing the Switch, so you have to close the chapter some way. The 3DS helped Nintendo get through these dark times when their main console wasn't doing too hot. It's always their handhelds that do better. I mean, it always shows statistics-wise. I mean, the DS was like crazy, the Game Boy was a big hit, and I mean, look at the Switch now. I mean, that's what they're good at, handhelds. But you can't blame them for experimenting. I mean, it's not the Wii U's fault it failed. It's just the marketing for it, and the whole presentation of the console was a little weird. But Nintendo got those times, and they're doing better than ever now with Switch. That was my review on what I like to call the dark age of Nintendo. I can't say that. Scott said that. Scott The Woz. Anyway, what shall I call this era of Nintendo that's dark? I call it the Industrial Revolution. Oh, you thought I was done. Didn't I say that this was the 1 year anniversary? And I said I was going to do something special? Well, here it comes. New from Nintendo, the super new mini power Nintendo 23DS Lite Micro XL DDL EU, Virtual SP, Microplayer, and Knuckles, Color Cube, and Game & Watch Entertainment System, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Also plays on 2DS. What's a 2DS? That's a 2DS? Oh.